What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Between the Pipes. Archie here, along with Wade. As always, we've had quite the week in the NHL. I know, Wade, you're dying to get into it as well. How's it going?
It's going really well, Archie. How are you, buddy?
Good, good. Quite the week. A lot going on. A lot of drama, if you want to call it. Some new established rivalries in the NHL. But as always, we'll kick off the show with the number one topic for us, our beloved Maple Leafs, who are now 34, 13, and 6, 74 points. And that goal differential, once again, up. We are now plus 41. And of course, largely in part thanks to these two studs, Auston Matthews, which is spelled wrong. I will correct that. And Mitch Marner. I know we agree on this all the time. I mean, Auston Matthews, absolute stud. Mitch Marner kind of making his own season for himself. He's at 66 points. Matthews 40 goals in 49 games. Based on what we were talking about last week, what do you think is going to happen here?
Man, it's Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, still a magical first line for the Toronto Maple Leafs, man. And I'm so glad that, Sheldon Keefe kept these guys together throughout the whole year, because before Sheldon Keefe, we had a lot of juggling going on with Babcock, with, putting Marner with Tavares, or, Nylander with Auston Matthews, trying to test out the waters, try to get old chemistry back from the 2016-17 season, stuff like that. But I mean, it's crazy to think, Archie, what if Mitch Marner and Auston Matthews played together right from the get-go? How many more points would they have each? How many more goals would Auston Matthews have with Mitch Marner setting them up from the get-go? Because they've only really played together for a full year this year, and you're really starting to see what kind of arsenal and what kind of weapon and tsunami comes along with this first line. It is just incredible, man. They're arguably the best duo in the NHL, with the likes of Rantanen, McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Draisaitl. I mean, it is unbelievable to be a Leaf fan and see these kids play day in, day out. And I mean, Mitch Marner, I mean, not only can the kid score, but he buys that extra 2 seconds. It's not even buying an extra 1 second. The guy just creates space, slows down the game to where he wants to play it, and just executes. And the talent level of him, his skating ability, and just his vision, man. I mean, I mean, does he have the best vision in the NHL? Like, he just might have the best vision in the NHL right now. I don't know. Maybe Connor McDavid has better vision. I really don't know. But Mitch Marner is just on another level, and he doesn't get enough credit just because he's shadowed a little bit, I feel like, by Auston Matthews. 40 goals in 49 games. I mean, come on here. I just heard a stat the other day that just blew my mind. And Auston Matthews is on pace for 67 goals. No one has done that since 92-93. Not Ovechkin, not Stamkos. We're talking a long time ago since that's happened, close to 40 years. So it's pretty incredible what Auston Matthews is doing. He's a stud. Like I said, 40 goals in 49 games, Archie. It's just, it's a magical thing, and we're seeing greatness unfold before our very eyes. And to have him in a Toronto Maple Leafs sweater, and to have Mitch Marner there, is just, it's something else, man. It's beyond this world for a Leaf fan. It's so much fun to watch, and every night is exciting. And Auston Matthews has already solidified that Rocket Richard trophy. It's going to be his first one. He could have won it last year too. Amazing. Just a little bit more hardware for the kid. Won the Rookie of the Year trophy there in 2016 too. So you know what's next? A Hart Trophy, which McDavid is obviously going to win this Hart Trophy. I mean, you can argue that Auston Matthews could be up for it too. But what McDavid is doing is just, it's on another level. I mean, to potentially have 100 points in a 56-game season is just, I mean, we won't, there might not be another player for a long time that we see do this. You know what I mean? And Connor McDavid is that generational player along the likes of Wayne Gretzky and Bobby Orr and Lemieux. Yeah, like he is right there, and he is just an incredible talent. I think he's AI. He's a robot that's just been programmed to score and pass and win hockey games and be the best player in the NHL. I'm pretty sure if you cut through his skin, you would see metal and titanium because to me, I think he's a robot. He's from the future. He is the future of hockey, and the future of hockey is in the present, and he's just rolling. It's incredible to watch what McDavid's doing too. But I'm going to let you talk about it a little bit too, Archie. We can talk all day about Auston Matthews and Marner, and hell, we haven't even talked about, the other 20 guys on the roster, but just amazing every night to watch these kids play and really start growing into what they're going to be. And they're still young, and there's still room for improvement, and they're still not even in their primes yet. It's just incredible, man. I'm flabbergasted by it all. What do you think, buddy?
Well, that's the thing, and you're right. We'll get into the McDavid talk in a few minutes here, but with Auston Matthews, it's almost like he's snake bitten for 50. He's come so close. This year, he definitely would have surpassed that by far if it was a full 82-game season. I mean, he's done something crazy this year. Like the pace that he's at is unbelievable. The last Leaf, and I don't know if you were even watching hockey at the time, I remember the goal as if it just happened last night. Dave Anderchuk scoring his 50th goal, assisted by Doug Gilmour. We're talking I think it was the 92-93 or the 93-94 season, one of those two. That's the last time a Leaf has gotten 50 goals. Painful, but exciting at the same time to see that it's happening. He may not hit the 50-goal mark this year in particular, but he's showing that he sure as hell can, and without a problem. It's like right now, anytime he touches that puck, there's a very good chance it's going in. And he's finding space to score goals where it doesn't even exist. And like McDavid, same style of player. He'll find a way to score. Matthews is not quite a McDavid, but I mean, he's our McDavid. In Toronto, he is our guy. And you're right. I mean, there's other guys on the roster too that deserve a lot of credit. A lot of guys picking up the slack. We saw Mikheyev wake up a little bit. We see a little bit of production out of everybody in the last game against Montreal. Great to see that. Great to see other players stepping up. Mitch Marner, again, 66 points on the year. He's been pretty much consistent over the last, I don't know how, since he's been in the NHL, really, when it comes to leading the team in points. And you're right. We've seen Babcock try it. The Matthews, Marner didn't work. I don't think he tried it enough. I don't think they practiced enough. Maybe they were just throwing it in there in games just as a mix-up whenever he felt like it. But I like the fact that Keefe is actually putting these guys together, allowing them to play. They are magical to watch. And it's not compromising our other lines. Our other lines are just as good. Like, we're seeing good productivity throughout the whole team. And, yeah, I mean, another person I feel like we got to mention, and a lot of people got on his case yesterday, Freddie Anderson. Freddie Anderson plays 2 periods, I believe, for the Marlies yesterday, allowing 2 goals on 14 shots, both, I believe, 5-hole, and my goodness, was he getting torn apart. Now, I believe he's set to play again for the Marlies tonight, in hopes that he's going to shake off whatever happened to him yesterday, because yesterday was rough. Like, it looked bad. The goals that he got scored on him, I know he's been absent for a while. He's trying to find his game again, but my goodness, not a good way to come out getting pulled after 2 periods. Now, some might debate he wasn't pulled because of performance. He was pulled more of the risk of him getting hurt. 2 periods, let him play, pull him. That's what I think happened. I don't think it had anything to do with allowing 2 goals on 14 shots. I mean, it is what it is. It's the minors. But yeah, so he had a rough goal last night. Hopefully he bounces back. I'm not too concerned. I still think the Leafs should be riding with Campbell. He's brought them here. The team plays so much better. We've agreed on this before. So much more confidence with him in the pipes. And you can't disagree. I mean, love Freddie, everything he's done for us, but unfortunately, I think whatever it is that's gotten to his head has eaten him and just destroyed him. And maybe he needs a change of scenery. Maybe he ends up going to Seattle. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen with that guy. But what are your thoughts real quick on Freddie and what to expect out of him?
Honestly, I don't really. That's a hard question. I guess I'll say I hope that Freddie Anderson is healthy by playoffs. I hope that he's healthy enough to back up Campbell. You know what I mean? I don't want Riddick backing up Campbell. I don't feel comfortable going into playoffs with Campbell and Riddick. I would feel pretty damn comfortable going in with a healthy Freddie Anderson sitting on the fucking bench, warming it up, watching Campbell play. And if Campbell is having a little bit of a bad game, then you throw in Freddie and maybe he steals a game for you. Maybe he comes in and he's lights out, stands on his head. I don't know. He's capable of doing it. Freddie Anderson has won 3 playoff series before with the Anaheim Ducks. So Freddie does know how to win, okay? And the Leafs have only grown and gotten better and better and better as the years. The kids aren't kids no more. They're adults. They're men in the league. They know. I think this is. I can't say they know what it takes to win because we have to win a friggin' series, which we haven't done yet. But I think we're on the brink, especially this year with everything that we've done in the off season and at Trade Center. So I think the chips are on the table for the Leafs, and I think Freddie Anderson is still a part of that. That being said, I think he's a part of it on the bench. And I think that Campbell, like you said, Archie, we need to ride the goalie that's kind of brought us here, that's kind of stayed consistent for us. And Campbell's done that. 11 games, he won straight. Then he flunked 3 games, didn't look like himself. All of a sudden, now the team's right behind him, and Campbell's standing on his head again. He's square in the net. He doesn't give up big rebounds. He knows how to swallow the puck. He's playing the puck better when he's out of the net. Talking to the guys a little bit more. Everyone's building chemistry. And I just think you ride fucking Jack Campbell into the playoffs and see what you have. And I think Leaf fans are okay with that. I don't know if Sheldon Keefe's okay with that. I don't know if Brendan Shanahan's okay with that. I don't know if Kyle Dubas is okay with that. Maybe Frederik Andersen, if he's healthy, he is the guy. He is the guy they want in the net. He's the guy making the money. He's the guy that's been there since 2016. With the start with all the guys, built friendships, great best friends with Auston Matthews. Joe Thornton came over here prior to after he signed, and stated that Freddie Andersen is one of the best goalies in the league, and he's excited for the opportunity not just to play with the likes of Marner, Matthews, Nylander, Tavares, but to play in front of this Freddie Andersen goalie who he believed was, above, most goalies in the league, or at least one of the top 5, I would say. That's kind of the way Joe Thornton made it seem. Obviously, Leaf fans know the heartbreak that Freddie has done to us in the past. Good regular season goalie, consistent enough to feel good about him playing night in, night out, but he does have his inconsistencies, and it usually hits him after an injury. He comes back and it takes him a while to warm up to the puck. And we've seen that before. He takes a hit to the head or he pulls his groin. He's a big bone kind of guy. He's not your average thin kind of skinny goalie and flexible. He's got a lot of weight and a lot of muscle and stuff going on. So easier to pull something or whatever. And the Freddie's had that his whole career, really. Mm-hmm. But I'm just going to stop right there because I'm rambling on about the damn goalies. I think that Jack Campbell is our fucking guy. I think that we still need Freddie Andersen healthy, though, to fall back on just in case somehow, some way, Campbell gets a little bit of stage fright on the big stage. We'll see what happens.
100%. So moving on now, of course, to Connor McDavid, a man who is in a league of his own. He's now at 96 points with 4 games left. Will he or won't he crack the 100-point mark? That's the big question. I mean, it feels like it's a given. Unless he gets severely injured or something and misses the games, there's no way. There's no way he's not going to reach it because I feel like he's averaging lately 4 points a game, goals, assists. He just makes it happen with such ease. So 4 games left, plenty of time to hit 4 more points. I don't see why he can't do it. I'd love to see him surpass the 100-point mark. And just because I know he's got the whole team behind his back, so I'm sure they're going to be looking to make sure that they get him, help him out, even if it means an empty netter or an assist on an empty netter. You know what I mean? It'll be big for them. So you said it best. He is AI. He is your ultimate hockey player right now, for years to come. An icon in Edmonton. I don't see Connor McDavid ever leaving the Oilers organization, although we have seen crazier things in Edmonton in the past, but I really don't think McDavid is going anywhere. What do you think?
I'll just quickly touch base because I kind of had a fanboy moment earlier explaining Connor McJesus, but guy's in a league of his own. I said he was AI. I'm pretty sure that they grabbed a strain of DNA from Bobby Orr and Wayne Gretzky, Lemieux, Lindros, Guy Lafleur, Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, something. There was some mastermind going around grabbing DNA, threw it all in a bottle, shook it up like Captain America, and just kind of implanted this DNA or something inside of Connor McDavid's genes. So I don't know. The guy's just incredible. One of my favorite hockey quotes this year, and this just kind of speaks for itself, is they asked Wayne Gretzky about 3 weeks ago what he thinks about Connor McDavid potentially reaching this 100 goal or 100 point mark this season. And Wayne said with no hesitation and with this relaxed state of mind, he goes, I think he'll just do it just to show that he can. I think he's going to do it just to show everyone that he can do it. You know what I mean? And for Wayne Gretzky to just say it nonchalantly like that, like, oh no, he's going to try. Like, I think he's willing, he has the drive, he's going to do it. He kind of just said, like, it's almost like a joke. He said it in a jokingly kind of nonchalant way where it was like, McDavid could probably get 110 points if he really wanted to, but he's going to get 100 just to get 100. And I thought that was the way that Wayne Gretzky quoted that, the way he said it, it like gave me a little bit of goosebumps. I was like, whoa, like for the best player in the world ever, I don't think anyone will ever come close to say that about McDavid. Just, we're talking about the NHL. We're talking about the new NHL where everyone's a machine on the ice. There's no one smoking on the bench. There's no one getting drunk the night before. There's not third and fourth lines that are decent at hockey, but just go to rough up in the corners and fight and whatever. We're talking like the best of the best of the best hockey players that are playing this game now in this modern day era. And Connor McDavid doing what he's doing is incredible, man. And my goodness, I just don't see anyone else really touching what he can do. It's awesome. I think that quote right there from Wayne Gretzky kind of just put it into context about what Connor McDavid really is. So I think it's cool, man. I think it's really cool to be a part of this and see Connor McDavid grow. And I think he will reach 100 points, and he could do it, in his next game. I think he can get 3 points because, like you said, Archie, it seems like every game he's like 2 or 3 or 4 points in the last like 7 or 8 games. He's just a machine, man. So yeah, that's my prediction. I think he gets 100. I think he might even get over 100 just so that he can do it,
Yep. Agreed. And I can't wait to see what happens over the next 4 games for him and even for Auston Matthews. I'm sure we'll both be watching closely to see how close he actually pulls to that 50 goal mark. I mean, it would be incredibly insane if he hit 50 goals. With that being said, based on the Leafs schedule and who they play, it's not impossible. Considering, just looking at it real quick here, we've got, like we had said last week, we've got 4 games left. 1 more against Montreal tomorrow night. Then we've got Ottawa Monday and Wednesday, and then Winnipeg on Friday, and that's the season for Toronto. So with 4 games left, can Matthews score 10 goals? It's possible.
Holy shit.
Will he? I don't know. I mean, he's got to have Ottawa tends to give us a hard time when it comes to scoring goals with them. Winnipeg could go either way. It's a shit show every time Toronto plays Winnipeg, so who knows? But either way, 40 goals for him. Marner's got 47 assists. He's at 66 points. I can see Marner hitting that 70-point mark, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
TJ Brody, that a lot of people were not happy about, is a plus 26.
People are not happy about TJ Brody?
Yeah, you know, at the beginning of the season, they were saying, did we really get an upgrade in Brody? And it's like, I think so.
Let me ask you this, Archie. Do you think that TJ Brody is the best defenseman on the Toronto Maple Leafs presently?
So if you would have asked me this at the beginning of the season, I would have said, no chance, Morgan Rielly. However, and this is a big however, I'm going to say at this point in the season, given Rielly's numbers, I mean, his numbers aren't bad. He's got 34 points from a offensive production perspective.
Yep.
TJ Brody's more of a stay-at-home, you know, what we needed, a rely on him to stay back kind of thing. As a defenseman, you know, Rielly's a plus 17. Brody's a plus 26. I feel defensively, Brody is definitely the best defenseman the Leafs have on this team.
Agreed.
Looking at everybody. I mean, Muzzin's kind of done his thing. He's a plus 17. I'm okay with that. To be honest, we have nobody on our roster right now, on our active roster, who is in the minuses, in the plus minus, with the exception of Ben Hutton, who came to us as a minus. He's a minus 12. And Nick Patan, who's a minus 2. He's only played 7 games. So outside of that, our active everyday team, there's nobody sitting in the minuses. I don't even remember the last time the Leafs could say that about their team. This is something new. Like I'm seeing this for the first time, and it is unbelievable to see that. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree that TJ Brody is the best defenseman the Leafs have right now. And I think it's only going to get better within the playoffs. And we're also going to see, I think, a different type of play out of Bogosian whenever he's ready to go back. I'm sure they're resting him, making sure he's ready to go when it's playoff time. You need a guy like that in the lineup. And I'm hoping to see the same out of Muzzin. But yeah, I think he's great. And I almost want to say Hall is a close number 2.
I like the way you think, brother. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I think Hall's really stepped up, man. He's had a couple of off games, but not enough where you could even call it inconsistent. Like, this guy is playing some good hockey. He's tough to play against. He goes into battle every night, goes to the hard parts of the net, goes into the corners with ease. He makes the quick little pass. That's what I love about Justin Hall. He doesn't like, and if he's in a pressured situation, he gets the puck out of our end, man. And I think that he's playing so well. Muzzin slowed down a bit, but Muzzin's still Muzzin. He's still a threat on the ice, and he's got a good shot. He'll make a big hit when he needs to. And the only thing is, he's a little bit of his feet are a little bit slower. I see it gradually getting a little slower. He's keeping guys on the outside a lot more, not going right at them because he can't really keep up to the quick forwards, right? But these guys are logging big minutes too, right? Like Muzzin, Hall, Brody, and Rielly. These guys are playing about 25, 22, 21 minutes every game against the best players in the NHL. And they have the Connor McDavids coming at them, and Dreisaitl's and Scheifele's and Wheelers, and it's no cakewalk. There's good talent coming at them. Goudreau, Monahan, and Kachuk. So for what the Leafs are doing, I think it's incredible. I think it's really good. I think they're on the right path. And the defensemen, like you said, I agree with you, Archie. TJ Brody, to me, he's so versatile back there. He gets out of pressured situations. He makes the pass no matter what. If it's a short pass, long pass, you rarely see him make a mistake or a blunder with the puck. And when you do, you notice it because it's like, whoa, this guy just made a mistake. And that's a good thing. Like, when you're surprised that he made a mistake, that's fucking awesome, because This guy never makes a mistake. I love it. He's great skating ability. He's a very smart player, man. He's very intelligent back there. And he does all the right things that you want in a defenseman. And dude, 2-on-1s when he's in the middle, I don't even fucking worry almost, bud, because he's either getting that fucking pass with his stick or he's on his belly and he's doing the octopus and he's stopping something. Like, he is so good, man, at everything back there. I just think it's an incredible pickup for the Leafs. He's unbelievable back there. I'm so happy that we grabbed him from Calgary, and I think he is our best defenseman right now. And I'm just gonna shout out Rasmus Sandin. Dude, kid looks like he's stepped up a little bit. Looks like he's put on a little bit of muscle recently. I guess this season, but he just looks stronger, and he looks like that confidence is building in his game where he'll hold on to the puck and not just throw it away if he gets pressured or he gets in trouble. He's making that extra little stick handle pivot, and then he opens up the ice a little bit more, and he's making that right pass. And I think that Sandin's on the path to greatness for the Maple Leafs, and he's going to be a top 2, top 3 player, no doubt in my mind, by next year. So I really like the Leafs defense right now. Bogosian coming back is huge. That means that Sandin or Dermott are going to be battling to play that 6th defenseman with Bogosian. If Bogosian even comes back and he's ready to play playoff hockey, it might be Dermott and Sandin back there. I don't know, but I'm okay at this point, Archie. I'm okay with that if it is Dermott and Sandin, because they both look good. So, but as the playoffs go on, the more depth, the better it is. You sit out Bogosian one game, then you play Sandin, then you sit out Dermott one game, Dermott, Bogosian, Sandin, Bogosian. You know what? You can rotate those bottom 6 and then have someone fresh every game if you really wanted to. Time management, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, dude, just finishing off, man, TJ Brody, what a hell of a pickup. Riley's having a great season and he still looks good, but TJ Brody is just a little bit more defensively inclined than Morgan Riley, in my opinion. So,
yeah, agreed. And in fact, going back to what you were just saying there, we have a viewer here, Andrew, saying, does Dermott or Sandin start in the first round? Now, assuming Bogosian's back, which I feel like he will be, I think we both agree Sandin would be the go-to, in my opinion. I mean, that's what I think is. That's what I think.
I have to agree with you. But I do think that, you know what, Archie, I agree with you there. I don't know what else I'm going to say here, but I think that the next 3 or 4 games is a little bit of a tryout period still. And I think the Leafs have amped it up, and you can tell from the last 2-3 weeks that they've really put the pedal to the floor. And I think that they're playing playoff hockey. They said, okay, let's start playing the way we're going to win playoff games. And you can see it. Every line is flying right now. Mm-hmm. Every player looks like they have a little bit of extra pep in their step. The drive is there. The back check is there. And the Leafs have been playing pretty close to playoff hockey in the last 3 weeks. And I think it is a little bit of a tryout period for some of these players, like your Adam Brooks, like your Sandins and Dermott. So we'll see that. And then Pierre Engvall, all of a sudden, 2 big goals in the last 3 or 4 games, just flying down the wing. And the one, that pass, that wrist shot that went top shelf there, short side, what a beautiful goal. Pierre Engvall's trying to make a statement, trying to be a staple on that 3rd, 4th line for the Leafs. So it's really fun to watch, a competitive edge amongst teammates, just to see who's going to be starting that first round. It's always good to have a friendly competitiveness going on and competition, because the better player Sheldon Keefe will choose, and he'll come out and he'll start. He'll be wearing the jersey probably against Montreal Canadiens. That's what I'm going to assume. Winnipeg and them are kind of in a battle for 3rd place right now. It's still close, so we can't make the assumption yet, but I still kind of think that it will be the Habs and the Leafs first round for the first time in, I don't know, since the 70s or something. So let's go, man. It's interesting. I wish there was fans though, Archie. My God, I wish there was fans in the building. I totally miss the fan noise and the boos and the what the fuck ref and your shit and a big hit explosion in the crowd. I'm missing the fans, especially in playoffs, man. I wish the players had that fucking had that atmosphere to play in. But that's why it's all fair.
Yep.
Because it's out of each division. I'm not sure about the states teams, if they're going to have a few fans or whatever for their playoffs, but within this Canadian division, all the Canadian teams aren't going to have fans. So as soon as you get out of that round, there's going to be no one. So you build your own momentum, and that's fair playing fields right there, right? So we'll see we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and I'm just to touch on that real quick. I'm hoping that the Leafs add a little more volume to their crowd noise, especially like you said, big hits, big plays. Like they've done a great job. I gotta say, the league has done a great job with simulating the crowd sound. Not as effective when it comes to momentum, especially for the players, but from a broadcasting point of view, I think they've done a pretty good job with it. I can't wait to have fans back in the building either. It makes a huge difference whether you're watching the game live or watching at home. Hearing that crowd reaction definitely gets you. Every player will tell you the buzz in the crowd is what gets them going. Especially come playoff time. I was at game 1 of the playoffs the last 2 years that the Leafs made it, and both times game 1 was just, you feel an energy in the building, you feel a buzz, it's quiet, then they play their custom intro for the playoffs, and the place just blows up. And it's just, the Go Leafs Go chant never sounded better than it does on opening night and on the first game of round 1 of the playoffs. It's insane. So yeah, it'll be a huge difference not having that this year. Pulling up some interesting stats here. So I apologize to Jake Muzzin, because you know what? He does look a little slow, a little out of his place, but he leads the team with 89 blocked shots.
Yep.
And he's got 96 hits. I'm okay with that. TJ Brody, 82 blocked shots. Hall, 80 block shots. And guess who number 4 and 5 and 6 are in the lineup? So you got Morgan Riley at 57. Okay. So we've mentioned the D. Guess who the next 2 players lead in block shots are?
Okay, hold on. Mitch Marner, Auston Matthews.
Boom. Mitch Marner with 46. And sorry, Auston Matthews with 46 block shots and Mitch Marner with 40.
Wow.
How, like, Auston Matthews, by all means, has become the most effective two-way player the Leafs have. I've never seen this kind of defensive play out of him this year. We've talked about it all season long.
Archie, is he not a candidate right now for the Selke Award? Is he not? I haven't heard anyone talk about it. But Leaf fans know, you and I know, bud, that when he's in the defensive end, he usually comes out of the corner with the fucking puck every time. Even when he goes into the corner, it doesn't even need to be a foot race. The other guy could have the puck. Auston Matthews gets in there and finds a way to either stick lift, lock him up, and he comes out with the puck, man. He out-muscles guys. It's incredible. Like it's unbelievable what Auston Matthews is turned into. He's turned into the full arsenal. He is he's got to be in the runnings for a Selke trophy. I don't know who's doing it better, but Auston Matthews, to me, Archie, should at least be a candidate and up for the Selke Award and the Rocket Richard, man. And even arguably the Hart Trophy. Like I said before, McDavid is doing stuff that's not from this earth, okay? He's on planet fucking hockey, okay? I understand that. But don't take that. You can't take away anything from what Auston Matthews has done this year. 40 goals in 49 games.
Yep.
That is insane. That is insane. That blows your mind. He also is helping his team, his whole team, win hockey games just by himself, solely. He is. I understand he has Marner feeding them the puck, but you got to find a way to get past the goalie and hit the fucking back of the mesh. And Auston Matthews does that almost every game. He could have three new pieces of shiny hardware in his trophy room by the end of this year. He can.
Yep.
And it's just incredible. It's amazing to see what he's done and what he's become. What's your thoughts? do you agree with me, Archie? What are your thoughts on Auston Matthews, Selke trophies, and just the two-way center that he's become? Because I just want to say this. I think Auston Matthews is a better two-way center than Connor McDavid. I think he is. Defensively, I think Auston Matthews has come a long way in the last year or two. And I think that he probably has more takeaways in the defensive end this season in the amount of games played compared to Connor McDavid. I bet you if there was a statistic on that, Matthews would come out on top. He's got to. Because, like I said, game in, game out, in the defensive end, Auston Matthews is as flashy as he is in the offensive end down below.
Mm-hmm. So, for anybody who's watching who doesn't know, the Selke does go to the forward who best excels in the defensive aspects of the game. Last year's winner, I believe, was Sean Couturier from the Flyers. And yeah, I mean, you're right. Why is his name not coming up in conversation there? And I mean, we have, again, Andrew stating Matthews is amazing at initiating contact when then using his body to take the puck every time. Absolutely, 100%. He, body to body, will win every time. He's just way bigger than Connor McDavid. If the two of them collided, McDavid would probably end up in a stretcher. But yeah, why his name's not in that conversation? Maybe it is. I don't know. But I believe that's the Writers Association. Yeah, the Hockey Writers Association are the people who vote on that award. So it'll be interesting. I would love to see Matthews win multiple awards this year. I think he deserves them. And just touching base on some other interesting stats. Faceoffs. John Tavares. He's won 449 and lost 359. He's almost won 100 more than he's lost. Amazing stat. Matthews won 422. He's lost 399. These guys are face-off machines. Jason Spezza. He's won 258. He's lost 202. Foligno up there. He's won 116 faceoffs. Riley Nash, which might be why they got him. He's fourth on the Leafs, 162 faceoff wins, 164 losses. So it's great that we have more than one guy that can win faceoffs this year, because for years we know in the playoffs you need that guy to win draws. Huge.
Well, when you're facing Bergeron fucking playoff in, playoff out, bud, for fucking 3 of the 5 years that you've made it, I mean, Bergeron has dominated us in that category, dude.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? But to see we finally have more than one guy that you can rely on to win faceoffs. And John Tavares, again, everybody's chirping him. You know what? I am happy. 48 points. I feel like he's going to hit 50 on the year. More than happy with that. Totally okay with that. I have nothing bad. The only person who's left me kind of hands in the air is Freddie Anderson, just because I don't get it. I don't get what's wrong with him. Because even when he's not injured, he's playing like he should be injured. I don't know, but his 5-hole needs some serious help. I don't know if it's pads changed or something, but man, his 5-hole is hurting real bad. So real quick, do you have any issues with anybody on this team other than the obvious one?
I don't have an issue. I totally agree with you, Arch. I totally agree with you. The only issue that the Leafs have really had this year was Freddie Anderson. And then outside of that, the only other issues I think you would say you had was a little bit of Joe Thornton's inconsistency after he came back from that injury. It took him a while, but hell, Joe Thornton looks like Joe Thornton again the last 3 weeks or a month of hockey. He's out there. He's playing hard. He looks like Jumbo Joe again. So that was a little inconsistency. And then Wayne Simmons, after he broke his wrist, I mean, he went through a hard, I would say almost 2 months as a Leaf. Just, he was out there. The passes were in skates a little bit. It wasn't really fighting, wasn't hitting too much. And then all of a sudden in the last 2.5, 3 weeks, I guess the same kind of time frame that Joe Thornton started really turning it up, Wayne Simmons starting to look like Wayne Simmons again. Not really scoring right now as much as he did prior to his broken wrist, but you can tell he's out there and he's an impact player and he's playing well. And those are the only players that I think have had a little bit of inconsistency, but they were injured. I mean, it takes a little while when you're off out of the lineup for a month, and then or 6 weeks or 2 months, it takes a toll on your body, especially when you're 33 and 42 years old. So like I said, those are the only other things that I think have been questionable. But I mean, give them a break, right? These guys are coming off injuries and they've been in the NHL, and it's not just like that's their only injuries. Their bodies have been broken down over the years of a 13-year career and a 20-year career in the NHL. So it takes a little bit of more time for those bones to heal in older bodies where those bones have been rattling around for their whole hockey careers. So that's all I got to say about that. But like I said, I think about 3 weeks ago, I think there was a team meeting held, Archie, and it was, okay, let's start playing playoff hockey. Let's start getting the drive. Let's start playing as competitively as we can, and let's get ready for playoff hockey. And that's the way I've seen the Leafs playing recently. And I'm excited about what we have on the ice right now and the way they're looking. So that's it for me.
All right. Sounds good. And we'll get off the McDavid train now and talk about what everybody's been talking about all week. Started off as a war between Tom Wilson and Pavel Buchnevich of the New York Rangers. And then, of course, the following night became an all-out war between the Washington Capitals and the New York Rangers. So I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. Wilson went after Buchnevich. There was an argument that it was the way he fell. It was an awkward play. Kind of looks like Buchnevich stretched his foot out to kick the goalie, and then Tom Wilson took exception to it, took him down. The way he fell looked like he got a stick in the back of the neck or whatever. Didn't like that. But what a lot of people freaked out about afterwards was the way he went after Panarin and pretty much ragdolled him to the ice, took him down, drove him in, ended up leading to Panarin's shoulder being injured in the whole play. And that was that. Wilson went off the ice, went nuts on the bench, did a whole, stance without his jersey on to the coach and kind of mocked the whole team. The league slaps him with a $5,000 fine, and that's it. Mind-blowing to me because he's a multiple repeat offender. We'll get to that. And then the following game, of course, with no suspension, before the puck even drops, 3 fights break out. By the end of the first period, 100 penalty minutes, just an absolute shit show. I mean, I enjoyed every minute of that game. It was amazing. And if I'm a fan of the Rangers or Washington, I'd be so pissed that I wasn't able to be at that game to watch it live, because that would have been an incredible atmosphere. And those guys would have been even more fueled in their fights with the crowd going mental. So we'll start off real quick. Tom Wilson, $5,000 fine. Did the Department of Player Safety get that right? What do you think there?
Man, this is such a hot topic, dude. Like, it's such a hot topic, and there's so many mixed opinions about it. And I don't know if I've seen a lot more on the side of Wilson's a goon. He's a repeat offender. He should have been at least got a game or 2 or 3 or been out the rest of the regular season. So I'm seeing a lot of people jump on that side of the line. And then you have your few people that are saying, okay, it wasn't the worst thing that I've seen and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't that bad. And like, maybe he should have got a game and that's it, and easily forgot about. Tom Wilson came out and said in an interview, I didn't think what I did was like that horrible. He's like, I was just playing hockey and doing my thing, and I think it got exploded out of context, and I wasn't expecting it to blow up the way it did. So I'll just quickly rant about my opinion, and then we'll get into yours. We haven't talked about this, Archie, nope. But I'll just say I think that I look at the replay. I've looked at it about fucking 10 times, okay? Maybe even more. I feel like I'm on the side of, I don't think it was that fucking bad, dude. I really don't. Like, to me, it was almost like a hockey play. And it's like the league, I understand that they're trying to get rid of some of that stuff and he's a repeat offender, but the actual thing like Pavel Buchnevich kind of like fell into Tom Wilson. It's not like he friggin' drove him into the ice. Like he almost kind of like held him up and then they fell. Okay. And Pavel Buchnevich was in a weird spot, like where Tom Wilson was holding it like this and his stick was under his neck and everything. He was in a very vulnerable position, like the way that they fell. But it's not like Tom Wilson pile drived him or anything like that. He kind of just like backed up and they fell together. And then, like, to me, Archie, it's not like Wilson wound up like this and fucking hammered him in the head or anything. He kind of just gave him like a, hey, what the fuck you doing? Or just like he kind of gave him he punched him, but it wasn't a fucking, like people are making it seem like he fucking really hit him when he was down. He kind of just gave him a headshot. The New York Rangers flip out because Ryan Strome's seen it. So to me, that's just like old, like there's way worse shit that has happened in the NHL's history, dude. Like way worse shit than what happened there. Like the league is getting a little bit soft here, in my opinion. It's Tom Wilson. I understand he's a fucking beast and he's a monster, but he plays the way he does. And it's not like he did like the dirtiest thing and like cross-checked someone behind the back of the neck or wound up and really fucking hammered him when he was down or kneed him in the head or kicked him. He kind of just gave him a shot to let him know he was there, that he was pissed off maybe about a skate being driven into his goalie or whatever. And then obviously he got jumped. And who jumps on him and starts roughing him up? Panarin. This is a league of men. This is the NHL, okay? I understand that Panarin is 170 pounds soaking wet or whatever, and he looks like a child or whatever. You know what I mean? Panarin is one of the best hockey players in the league. He's top 15 maybe. I get that he's a star player. But when you're going to go handle yourself as a man in the NHL and take liberty on something that's going on about, you know what? And I agree with what Panarin did. He went after Tom Wilson and so did Ryan Strome because they seen someone they didn't agree with what happened. And I'm not saying that I totally am on the side of like, it's bullshit because like Tom Wilson shouldn't have done that. Okay. I'm not saying that it's fine that he did. He shouldn't have done it, but he did. But to me, it just wasn't as bad as what people are making it seem. And Tom Wilson ends up kind of ragged up. Dude, Tom Wilson could have fucked up Panarin if he wanted to. Like, he came after him. What are you expecting? You're in the NHL. What if Panarin gets the glove off and throws a couple haymakers at him? Tom Wilson's going to fight, but he kind of just ragdolled him, wrestled him to the ground. It's sorry that Panarin fell wrong. He gave him one hammer fist. I know. He gave him a hammer fist, but it was one hammer fist, and then he pushed him down again, and then he sat on top of him, and that was the end of the incident. Archie, you've been watching hockey for a long time. So have I. Our viewers, I don't know how we have all ages probably watching this podcast, but dude, there was way worse hits, fights, sequences, things said in the NHL in the last over 100 years than that incident. And for everyone to be like, oh, this is horrible. Like, so I guess what I'm getting at is I think they blew it way out of proportion. I think that Wilson maybe should have got a game. $5,000, a shitty slap on the wrist, maybe 25 grand. Don't do that shit again. Don't hit someone when they're down and stir it up like that. Okay, I get that. But I think they blew it out of proportion for what really happened. When I watched the replay, I don't see it being like such a cutthroat incident. I see it just being hockey and in heat of the moment. And I don't know if Pavel Buchnevich is a little bitch on the ice and talks shit, and maybe Tom Wilson just, you know what I mean? I don't know that kind of stuff, but maybe he is a little rat. You know what I mean? But Tom Wilson he's a repeat offender. And even like he said, he didn't expect this to blow out of proportion and go all over media and have the impact that it did with social media and the NHL. He really didn't think what he did was that bad. And I gotta say, I kind of not all the way agree with him, but I get where he's coming from. And I do, you know, I guess what I'm saying is I can't hide it. I do kind of agree with him that this incident was just blown out of proportion, man. And I don't know what your thoughts are. I would love to hear your thoughts, Archie. being an old school hockey guy and seeing the league transition into what it is now. And I want to know what your thoughts are on this incident and what happened. And was it like really, really dirty to you? Was it dirty enough for a one game? What are your thoughts, dude? You know my thoughts. I think maybe a bigger fine or at least a game or a one game. But you know what I mean? Maybe Peros did drop the ball with $5,000 being slapped on him. That's really nothing. I don't know, man. What do you think?
So here's my opinion on it, and you raised a lot of good points. The initial play on Buchnevich, I'm going to agree with you. I don't think it was an incredibly violent play by any means. It was an unfortunate event, kind of fell on him, whatever, but not like he knocked him out cold. It wasn't like a Brashear incident or, it wasn't a McSorley hitting him in the side of the head. Like it wasn't an intent to injure. It was a hockey play, a scruff in the crease, took him down. He fell weird. It was awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, bigger fine, I don't know how it all works, but I think what he got was the max allowable under the CBA, which is weird how they classify these things. Each section of the CBA only allows players to be fined an X amount of dollars. So, I mean, I think that was the max. Now, I think what he did to Panarin was more upsetting, if anything, because Panarin's got no chance against you. You don't ragdoll the guy. But then I think back to the time when Zdeno Chara ragdolled Brian McCabe. Way worse than that. And there was nothing that was done about it. So, I mean, it's the passion. It's the passion that drives these guys. Tom Wilson is a very passionate hockey player. He's a grinder. He's a fighter. He's a soul. And you can't take that out of a guy. So, man, if that was the case, how many times should Darcy Tucker have been suspended? I don't know if you ever got to watch him play when he was on the Leafs, but against the Ottawa Senators, everybody said he was crazy eyes. He was possessed. He'd hit anything in sight. Devastating hits. So I'm going to agree. $5,000, you know what? I'm surprised it wasn't more, or at least a game, only because the league knew they were going to play them the next night. For all intents and purposes, they should have given him the one game just to avoid the disaster that happened the following game. That's the only reason why I would have said it, just out of that purpose there. The play itself, no, I don't think so. I think it was a hockey play, and it just ended in an unfortunate way. Now, the next game, Buchnevich goes and boneheadedly cross-checks Mantha in the face, like straight. And I've watched that replay many times, and he didn't even think of letting off. It was a straight cross-check to the face, and you see Mantha's body whip back.
And did Pavel Buchnevich get a fucking fine or anything or a game?
He got the one game. He got the one game. I think that deserved 3. Why? I'm going to say this because he should have got the game for the sake of getting it because he cross-checked the guy in the face. But that, and I know the NHL is big on this, that also falls under the instigator. You went out headhunting because you got hit. So because of the play on you the night before, you knew you can't go after Tom Wilson because he will fuck your shit up. So you went after Mantha, one of their better players right now, and you cross-checked him in the face intentionally. That, to me, deserved more games, more than one. I would have given him 3 to 5. Just because instigator and intent to injure. You went headhunting. You were not.
Yeah, I agree.
The puck. So it is unfortunate. Now, a few of our viewers are commenting here, and I got to say, so Rob Panchuk says it was a hockey play. We agree. Can't give bigger fine as in the collective agreement. That's what I thought. And Andrew says, if it was any other player except Matthew Tkachuk, it wouldn't get this much attention. I want to say here one thing, though. As a Leafs fan, and I'm sure many people said it, if that was Nazem Kadri, he would have been suspended. I honestly feel like he would have been. And they would have used the whole prior incidents, repeat offender. I honestly think Nazem Kadri would have got suspended. How do you feel about that? Given the history.
Yeah, Archie, it's funny you bring that up. I just want to touch base on the Pavel Buchnevich and Mantha cross-check. That was fucked up. That was fucked up.
Yeah.
That should have been at least you're done for the rest of the season. Go home. That's retaliation. That's instigating. That it's intent to hurt, dude. A fucking composite hockey stick is hard to break, and he tried to fucking smash it, cross-checking Mantha in the face like that, man. That could have did some serious damage. Mantha's lucky he went in and braced himself and kind of got his arms up underneath like his chest or whatever, just to like say, "Oh yeah, you want to go?" He is lucky. This would have been totally different if Buchnevich made contact with Mantha's face and broke his friggin' and broke his face or broke his forehead or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Could you imagine if he broke his nose or he had to go in and get friggin' 25 stitches? Pavel Buchnevich would be crying in an interview, apologizing to Mantha for letting the game take over his fury and anger, and apologizing to his family and his kids or whatever. That would have been a huge moment in today's NHL, because we never seen shit like this in the last 5 or 10 or 15 years. I mean, since like Todd Bertuzzi fucked up whatever his name was, I forget his name. What was that? What was the guy on Vancouver? Who did Bertuzzi do sucker punch there, man? Anyways, away from that, if Buchnevich made contact with Mantha and Mantha really took it in the face, man, and broke bones in his face, to me, he should have been gone the rest of the season. That was way worse than what Tom Wilson did. And that's just not right. You can't have that kind of shit in the league. That you could have really fucking hurt someone. You could have killed someone doing that, making that move, dude. You could have gave him a concussion. You could have knocked him out cold. You could have gave him brain damage if you made contact right there. Who knows what could have happened? Mantha's lucky he braced, and it could have been a whole different conversation in the last couple of days with what happened there and unfolded. So I'm just kind of pissed off about that, and that the league kind of let that one go, and it's still all shadowed over Tom Wilson. But we're just okay with a one game, and we're not talking about Pavel Buchnevich right now. But we are, Archie. We're bringing it to the attention. We're bringing it to our viewers' attention. That was a really dirty fucking hockey play, and you don't do shit like that in the NHL. And I think Pavel Buchnevich now has something else coming for him for that, because there is going to be retaliation on that, and it'll be the right retaliation, and that's a fucking fight, and he's going to get dummied because you don't do shit like that. That's a cowardly move, a pussy move. I'm furious about that one, man. When I watched that replay, Archie, I couldn't believe what I seen too, man. Like, you don't see that shit. But sorry, I went on about it with the Mantha. Nazem Kadri, like you said, Tom Wilson, the recent incident. Okay, remember when Nazem Kadri went up and who was in the boards or whatever, and they were already down, and Nazem Kadri went in. He led with the knee and like smoked Buddy with his knee right against the boards and like took him out. I don't know if it was DeBrusque or who it was. I think it was. Yeah. And that was a pretty dirty play. And I mean, you can't have that kind of stuff in the game. And I understood as a Leaf fan, I was like, fuck, he's going to get a game or two for that for sure. And he was out like the rest of the playoff series or whatever happened there. 2 playoff series in a row, which is probably the reason why Nazem Kadri got traded. Also because John Tavares came and solidified that second role, and Kadri was not a third-line center. He's a second or first-line center on any other team. But that being said, Kadri would have been I think Kadri may have been suspended. But Archie, to me, Tom Wilson didn't get suspended because, like Rob Panchuk just said in the comments, like you just said, dude, that's the fucking hockey game. That is NHL hockey. It wasn't that dirty, man. Why are people going like crazy? I see people commenting like, do you know the game of hockey? Did you just start watching in the last 5 years? Because I feel like you did. Because hockey 10 years, 15, 20 years ago, there was fucking men out there, and they were dealing with a lot more fucking shit than what Tom Wilson did to Pavel Buchnevich, man. So that's just my opinion. And Nazem Kadri, I don't even know if he would have got suspended for doing that. Maybe repeat offender. Tom Wilson's a repeat offender too, bud. But he got a $5,000 fine. So it's a weird subject. I think that it's just a soft, touchy fucking I think it's the softness of the newer fans, or I think that the newer style of hockey is really starting to take over people's minds, and people are starting to forget about what hockey means and what hockey is and the way the game is played, and what you leave it out on the ice, and things happen spontaneously, and just, sometimes things like that go down on the ice. You don't play the game. Hell, I play the game, but I wouldn't know what it's like to be on an NHL rink with cameras watching me and trying to win for a whole city. The stuff that unfolds in those sequences in a second, it's your reaction. And for me, I don't think it was that bad. So that's just my opinion. But that's the game of hockey. Hockey is entertainment. Hockey is one of the greatest sports in the world. And I hate to see it get as soft as it's getting. And for people to actually agree with how horrible and gruesome what Tom Wilson did, and even the New York Rangers that come out and bitch about it and to the league. I understand that they're protecting their player. Yes. Okay. So you had to go out and do that. But I guarantee if you in a podcast on Spit and Chicklets or something in fucking 15 years, when they talk about this incident and they talk to the New York Rangers players and they ask them, oh, what did you think about that Tom Wilson incident? If they were to talk about it, I bet you they'd say, oh, fuck, it wasn't that bad. Just my opinion, just my prediction. Anyways, I don't know, Arch. Crazy stuff. But you know what? The only thing that game was missing, Archie, was a goddamn goalie fight. Where was the fucking goalie fight? It was a yard sale. There should have been the fucking goalies going at it. That would have made it insane. Could you imagine 3 fights from the get-go and the goalies meet up too and just start wailing each other like city against city, Rangers against Washington, fuck you. Oh, it would have been great.
It's funny. It's unfortunate that the Rangers, with a plus 19 goal differential, which is rare, they're eliminated, mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. They're not going to make it, because I would have loved to see a Washington-New York series after that, just because. Yeah. And now, unfortunately, fortunate for Buchnevich, things will cool down by the time they play each other again. But, you're right. What he did was cowardly. There's no room for that in the game. And if anything, way, way, way worse than what Buchnevich did, and than what Tom Wilson did. And the next day, Rangers GM and president get fired, completely unrelated to that apparently. But it was the day after the statement was made where they called out George Peros, saying he is unfit to be the head of the Department of Player Safety, which is unreal, because George Peros was one of the goons in the league and one of the enforcers, and he knows what it's like to be in that position. He knows what it's like. So, I don't think they got it wrong. I think that they got it wrong on Buchnevich. He should have got more than a game. Yeah. But it is what it is. The Rangers are out. Washington gets the last laugh. I do want to point out that Alex Ovechkin and Tom Wilson both called Panarin the following day to check on him and see how he was doing, because Tom Wilson did not want to injure Panarin. I think whoever came at him, he took down. Of course he's going to do that. He's not going to just sit there and take it. He took down whoever went at him, and it happened to be Panarin. People were saying he pulled his hair. He swung him. He swung him down. And unfortunately, Panarin's a little guy. But hey, who remembers Nazem Kadri ripping out Joe Thornton's beard when we played against them, and a handful of hair fell on the ice? It happens. When you're in the middle of the game, you're grabbing each other. You're not going to look at, his long hair, I can't touch his flow. So it is what it is. Tom Wilson plays with heart, like one of our viewers said here. Kadri, like Wilson, played with heart on his sleeve, but it always got the better of him. Kadri had zero discipline. So it is what it is. And then we have a guy who doesn't watch hockey, who's part of the Buzz crew, saying we need no rules hockey. This is probably the smartest thing he's ever said when it comes to
no rules hockey.
He doesn't watch. And Chuck, thank you for that comment. I agree. I think some of the rules are a bit too much. I think sometimes the refs just got to let teams play. I'm sure the refs knew what was going to happen that night. The following game, they knew. They were probably shaking their heads. And again, the only reason why I would have given Wilson a game was strictly from a scheduling perspective. They're playing each other again tomorrow. Let's just have him sit out, and that's it. And in fact, after he got into his second fight of the game, he was ruled out with an upper body injury. He wasn't injured. I think that was Washington's coach saying, enough. They're going to go headhunting for Wilson. Let's pull him out of the game. We don't need him to play, and let's just play this game out. And smart move on behalf of the Washington Capitals coaching staff for doing that, because they were going to go after him. The second he stepped on the ice, he got attacked. I mean, they were going to go after him because they didn't like it. Nobody liked it. And at the end of the day, the Rangers look like a bunch of babies crying and whining about it. And the only person I feel bad for on that team is Mika Zibanejad, because he deserves to be playing on an NHL playoff team, not the New York Rangers. Just saying.
Archie, here's the thing too. I think that the whole situation with jumping Wilson, obviously it was for the Pavel Buchnevich and Panarin injury and stuff like that, and what he did. But I think there was a lot to do. They were taking liberties on the league's decision. So. Yep. Tom Wilson fell into that, and it's a little bit unfair for Tom Wilson to have to deal with players coming at him because the franchise is pissed off at the way the NHL handled a potential suspension and fine. So they took liberties on Wilson when, what we've talked about just now, like it wasn't so bad. And like Wilson had no intent to injure Panarin, and he had no intent to injure Buchnevich. If he wanted to injure those guys, he fucking would have. It's Tom Wilson. He's a powerhouse. He knows how to fight. He knows how to destroy people. We've seen it. Mm-hmm. All right. But none of what he did was intent to injure or really hurt anyone. He was just playing hockey and got in the heat of the moment, and a little bit of a questionable thing, but nothing horrible, nothing gruesome, nothing too bad. And it just sucks that they took liberties on one player. And if I was Tom Wilson, I'd be pretty fucking upset about that he had to deal with that because the NHL made a bad decision. Like, it's not his fault, right? So I don't know. The NHL needs to smarten up a little bit. And I agree with you that I think they should have just gave Wilson a game and said, listen, pulled him into a room. Listen, we're going to give you a game because this is going down and it's blowing up on social media and blah, blah, blah. It's safer if you just take the game out, you get the suspension and blah, blah, blah. And then wait for next year or another game in order to face them and let it cool off or whatever. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You got to answer the bell, and Tom Wilson has no problem answering the bell. And the bell was rung, and he fucking dropped it with, I think it was Smith that went over and dropped it with him right away. And that was it. But I just don't like the fact that the New York Rangers organization they took liberties on Tom Wilson, not just because of the Panarin injury and Pavel Buchnevich punching in the head, because the league's decision. And to me, that wasn't right. So that's just my opinion.
Yep. And just before we wrap things up, guys, as always, on The Buzz, we've got a bunch of different shows you can watch. Check them out.
War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Till we see the confetti fall, be ready for war. Tell them I'm ready, any opponent. The crown heavy and every minute is chosen. A path only fit for kings, and you don't know what this court means. What did you enlist for? If it isn't getting more rings, then you gon' have to switch your team. Trust me, it gets more mean. I'm a nightmare going up against your dreams. First step is explosive like a bomb hit. Bet if I let it fly, I cannot miss. And you ain't got a chance at the top 10 when you getting clamped all night by your locksmith. On the block, throwing lobs to my top bigs. I'm a chef, no look, what's the top dish? Tie game, through the pressure as the clock ticks. Crossover, step back, hit a shot, quick.
That is our lineup now. Wade, I got to show you something. Everybody's wondering if, what's his name? Bogosian, if he's going to be ready for the playoffs. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to share something right now. Mm-hmm. This tells you he's ready. Check out his playoff flow. Okay.
Unreal.
You tell me if this doesn't look like somebody who's ready to go.
Hey man, he had a Stanley Cup ring from last year, and it was probably just mailed to him, or he just picked it up. I think within the last month or two, the Tampa Bay Lightning received their ring, so he probably wants another one, and he knows that he's on the team to potentially hoist another cup, and he's got a good chance. So he's ready to go. The flow looks unreal. My flow is holy hell! I got the wings coming, guys, and holy shit! Like it's at the stage. You know that stage where you're growing your hair and it's just like you can't really friggin' put it back because it's not long enough, and you can't really do anything, and you just kind of look like a gourd. Well, that's like the stage I'm in. That's why I'm just wearing hats all the time and trying to get it past there. But also, I can't go to a barbershop or the hair salon or whatever and get a haircut. So I'm kind of just chilling with the flow right now. And hey, man, I'm enjoying it. But playoff hockey is starting. We're going to start seeing some playoff beards. We're going to start seeing a lot of, especially on the Leafs, we're going to see the silver beards for sure. Thornton, Spezza, our older guys there, man. So we'll see a couple gray hairs sticking out. But hey, bud, it's always a good time, and playoff flow is a huge part of the swag. So I'm all for it. I'm in it right now too. I'm obviously not playing hockey or anything. And Ontario, by the way, everyone is still in lockdown. I have no words for that. I just want to move on from COVID, and just start living life the way it was prior COVID and all that stuff. So, but yeah, no, Bogosian's ready. I think he's ready to destroy, and I think the Leafs are a good choice to win a cup this year, man. I think that it's going to be them or three other teams that I'm scared of. There's always that dark horse that comes out of nowhere that surprises everybody, but they're definitely on the way to Paradise Land, and I think that they have the team to do it this year. And obviously, being a Leaf fan, it's go Leafs, go all the time. Even when I know that our chances are pretty slim to none to even get to a championship round, but I'm telling you this, man, I believe for real this year. I'm very excited about what's to come. I'm very excited about the matchups, and go Leafs go on my part. And I hope that for whoever you're cheering for, I hope that they're in the playoffs too, and you can get passionate and unite with your city and your friends and cheer on your team, because that's what matters most. Is hockey brings people together. Hockey brings the fire out of you. Hockey keeps you interested and happy and emotional, and it's just a crazy roller coaster ride, this damn sport, and what it does to us. So good luck to everyone. Like I said, next week we're definitely going to have the playoff predictions, and we'll have the matchups all ready to go for sure. So that's going to be an exciting thing, and obviously we're going to have it's going to be the end of the league. So we're going to have the hardware and the trophies that are going to be given out. We'll be able to name the guys that are going to accept it. Obviously, there's going to be a couple trophies like the Selke, where that's going to be a decision upon the team in the league, or the league in the NHL. But as your, Rocket Richards and Norris trophies, best defenseman, Vezina trophies, you're going to know kind of who the hell is going to be carrying around that trophy when they present them. So next week should be jam-packed with a lot of cool stuff, guys. And if you're into hockey talk and you're watching this right now, you don't want to miss next week. Me and Archie got it coming for you. We love talking hockey. It's part of our everyday lives, and we just get to fill it all in this hour, 2 hours, or whatever on this podcast. And thank you, Archie, for hosting the podcast again. You're the best. Hockey is underway, buddy. Playoffs are around the corner, buddy. Let's get excited, man. This is going to be a good year.
Absolutely. And Andrew here commenting again, first time watching, love talking hockey, looking forward to the next one. Thank you for joining us. We always like to have fans watching, viewers, friends, family, whatever, just kind of, giving your feedback and letting us know what you think about stuff. We're always open to debate and discussion, so feel free to join us anytime. Our shows usually air Fridays at 7:30 p.m. A little bit of a late start tonight, but typically 7:30 p.m. Fridays. And moving on from next week on until the end of the playoffs, we will be on every Friday night, bringing you all you need to know about the playoffs. And next week we'll start off with previews, predictions, like you said, awards, and what we think. So it'll be a more structured show. We'd love to hear from anybody who wants to watch along with us what you think. And we look forward to sharing those opinions. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. On behalf of myself and Wade, have a good one. Go Leafs go tomorrow. And Wade, any closing words?
TGIF, guys. Relax. Have a drink. Have a smoke. Whatever you do, have fun. Relax. Enjoy what you're doing. It's the weekend, so let's have some fun. Take care, and we'll see you next week, man.
See you guys.